What's good, everybody? It's Ron. I come back and show another video. So with this video, I want to explain to you why your core beliefs fundamentally control your reality. And it's simple, right? The explanation is simple. It's not the facts of your life that creates the belief. It's the beliefs that you have, the beliefs that you hold, that ultimately create the facts. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you're sitting in lecture, you're in college, right? You're sitting in lecture. And let's just say you've never been a fan of writing papers, right? You struggle with even writing a one-page paper. And let's just say you're sitting in lecture and the professor tells you that you need to write a 10-page paper, and that 10-page paper is due in 3 weeks. Because of that, you start panicking, you start worrying, right? You tell yourself that there's no way you'll be able to do it, right? And so that is your belief. That is not possible, that there's no way that you'd be able to get this paper done. So because that is the thoughts that you have, and that's the belief that you hold, right? You begin feeling worried, anxious, concerned, right? And you begin procrastinating. And so for the next 2.5, 3 weeks, right? You're not working on the paper because you're so worried about it. It's almost like a dark cloud looming over your head because you don't think it's possible. So you didn't even know where to start or how to begin, or right. So you don't do anything. And then the day before the paper is due, that's when you decide to try to get started, to maybe try to somehow, cram it, or just submit anything for some credit, or not even get the assignment done at all. Notice there that the belief of thinking that it's not possible to get done is what led to the emotion that you felt, which was worry, anxiety, right? And that's what led you to procrastinate, which led to the action, or in this case, the inaction of you writing the paper. So that's just a simple example of how your belief ends up creating the facts of your life. Now, there's a famous quote that goes, whether he thinks he can or he thinks he can't, either way, he's both right. And that's true, because it doesn't cost us anything to believe in what we believe in, right? And we can believe something that is entirely false, right? There's plenty of people that believe that the only way to earn an income is through a job, but we know that is not true, because you can earn an income. It doesn't have to be through employment, right? You can earn an income by providing a service to someone else without having to directly be employed, right? You can earn income by selling a product to someone, right? But for most people, that is what they believe. And so because it's what they believe, that's what they operate on. That if they ever need to earn more money or make more money, they think, oh, I need another job, or I need to get a better job, and if they're operating with that mindset, then that is going to be the only way that they ever earn income, right? So that's another prime example of your beliefs create the facts, right? It's not the facts that create the belief, because remember, a belief is nothing more than a thought that you think over and over and over, right? It's almost like a habitual thought. So belief is just something, it's just a thought that we think over and over and over. But the beauty of it all is that because it's just a thought, we can freely choose and decide on the thought that we want to think. We have the power to do that. The problem is that most people, they would see the result that they get and they'll choose a thought based on that result, rather than choosing a thought freely and deciding on a thought that they want to experience. So now, and that might sound a little confusing, but let me give you a perfect example, right? Let's say there's a student in school, and this student hasn't been a good student. Let's say they've been failing their classes, and let's just say this is like an elementary school kid, right? This kid goes to parent-teacher conference. They get their report card. They see that they get Fs, that they're failing all their classes, and the teacher calls them a bad student. The parent calls them a bad student. The principal, the assistant principal calls them a bad student, and they'll say that this student will never be a good student, blah, 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 right? Remember, the report card that shows the grades that say F for failing, that report card is simply a reflection, is that grade that they get is just a reflection of the past events, the past decisions that they've made, right? Because you're grading the student based on their history. of that school year thus far, right? So that grade does not have any bearing on the future, because a student that was failing all their classes for parent conference, they could turn around and become a straight A student. It is possible, right? It's just, if that student failed all their classes and they're told by everyone that they're a bad student, and the student looks at the grade and begin believing that they're a bad student, that they're incapable, then guess what? They're going to make the decision that they are indeed a bad student. So they're not going to go to class. They're not going to pay attention when they're in class. They're not going to do the homework, because they'll think it's a waste of time, because they're already a bad student. They've accepted that they're a bad student. So that's another example of not only the belief creating the fact, but them choosing a thought based on the results that they previously received, right? So they're seeing the F's on the report card. And so the thought that they think is, well, this is the evidence right here that I'm not a good student, therefore I'm not a good student. Instead of freely deciding on the idea that we want to choose, right? Because if the student knows that it's beneficial to them to be a straight A student, to be good in school, because they'll learn important information, right? They can say, you know what? I want to be a straight A student, right? Doesn't matter what the report cards say. Doesn't matter what any of that says. I, for myself, want to be a good student because I want to learn, because I want to be on the right track in life. They can freely choose that, right? Because that is a new thought. They can freely decide that they are capable, that they can succeed in school. That is a new thought. That is a thought that best serves them compared to being a bad student, right? That's what they can be thinking. They have the power to choose that. Just like in your life, you have the power to choose that, right? There's some people that they want to attract a partner because they want to fall in love. They want to have their own family, you know, all these, right? Like that's their desire. But they operate with the belief that there are no good men or there are no good women out there. So you want to have a partner, but you believe that there are no good people out in the market. So how do you expect to ever attract a good person, right? Because if you believe there's not good people out there, then chances are you're not going to be happy, right? You're going to be probably pissed off. You're going to be frustrated. You're not going to be feeling your best. You're not going to be smiling. And so you can come across someone good, but because you're not presenting yourself correctly, you're probably going to repel the good people away. You're probably going to repel that good person because you're going to you're going to have a frown on your face the entire time. When if you want to find a good partner, you want to one day be in love and experience love. Being in love is going to feel good. It's going to be a happy emotion. It's going to be a positive emotion. That's what you want to experience. So it would be best for you to show up already happy, to show up feeling good, feeling light as a person. That's what you want, because that's what you want to attract into your life. And if someone is not a match to that energy, then that's not the person that you're supposed to be with, right? But you can't want something, right? Say you want love, you want all these great things, and then say there's no good people out there. It's like, okay, well, what you believe in is going to end up being a fact. You're going to be right. There's no good people out there, because the good people you're going to repel the good people away. And the good people are not going to want to associate themselves with you because you are experiencing and projecting out negative emotion. And the people who are ready to settle down are going to be people who are going to show up already happy and excited, looking for the partner. You're not going to be a match, right? This is why your core beliefs fundamentally control your reality, right? You need to understand what you believe in, and you need to reflect a lot and change some of these beliefs, because sometimes we have these beliefs that are ingrained in us subconsciously. They might have been ingrained in us because of our parents, because of our environment, because of the people that we were around. And if we don't ever reflect and ask, have deep conversations with ourselves and figure that out, it's hard to change something that you're not aware of, right? You need to begin figuring out what beliefs you actually want for yourself, not the beliefs that were given to you or assigned to you from other people, right? You need to figure out the beliefs that you want to hold for yourself, right? And if you have some beliefs that you don't agree with or you think are now incorrect, you now have the power to freely choose the ideas that you want to insert in your mind, so that you can continuously think of those thoughts over and over and over, so they can begin to be accepted as new beliefs. You want to create new beliefs that are actually going to serve you and your life. Because the $1,000,000 question is, see, as humans, we are given such freedom and free will that if we wanted to, we can choose bondage. We can believe in bondage, right? We can believe that we're trapped and there's nothing for us to do in the situation that we're living in. We are free to believe that, and we can believe that, and there are people who believe that. That's how free we are. So you also have the power to freely decide on the thoughts that you want to think, to create the new beliefs that you want to create. And the $1,000,000 question is this: whatever belief you have, whatever belief you hold about anything in life, the $1,000,000 question is, do you want to be proven right? Right? That belief that you hold, is that a belief that you want to be proven right on? Because remember, it's not the facts that create the belief, it's the beliefs that create the facts. The beliefs that you hold is what's ultimately going to deliver the facts, which are the evidence in your life. So whatever you believe, you are going to be given evidence for, right? If you believe the world is, if you have a pessimistic view on the world, you believe the world is a nasty, violent, bad place, right? And you turn on the news and you're going to see all these news stories showing that there's all these bad events, and you're going to say, see, I told you, right? Look at all these bad things that are happening in the world. And cool, like, you're going to be proven right? Because there you go. You have your evidence for what you believe in. But if you believe the world is a good place, that there's a lot of amazing, phenomenal people, and everything's going to be just fine, and everything's taken care of, and we live in a friendly universe, right? You're also going to find evidence for that too, because you can step outside and you can find people smiling, walking their dogs, and you can find people who are happy and respectful, people that will hold the door for you, right? People that will do favors for you, people that will look out for you, right? People that will do good deeds for you. There's a lot of great people out there, a lot of amazing, phenomenal people out there, right? What you believe in will control your reality, because it'll shape your reality. So you get to decide the life that you want to live. You get to decide the world that you want to have and be a part of. You get to decide the life that you ultimately want to create. So this is why I'm passionate about what it is that I do and what it is that I teach, because I want to help you come to this understanding and this realization as well. I want you to realize that you have so much power, because you are the creator of your own life, and you are free to choose the thoughts that you want to think, which means you are free to have the beliefs that you want to have. And there's so many beliefs that we were taught and we were given that's not true, and probably don't even serve us, and we have the power to choose what we want moving forward that is going to serve us. So you have the power to do that. So knowing that your beliefs shape your reality and control your reality, you now have the power to decide, to freely decide on the thoughts that you want to think, to help create the new beliefs that are going to serve you moving forward, right? So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we go on the road to main subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.